Jisoo, a model student excelling in every subject without ever causing trouble, finds himself awakened by the obnoxious commotion of his classmate, Minhee. Her loud distress is due to losing a present for her boyfriend, Ki-tae, who coincidentally walks in. Earlier, his homeroom teacher, Jinwoo, inquired about Jisoo's future plans and dreams, to which Jisoo struggled to respond, considering dreams to be expensive, especially when you have no parents. Despite being just a high school student, Jisoo leads a risky side hustle. Operating his own coded program, Doggo, he contacts his muscle man, Mr. Lee, seeking assistance with a problematic individual. The girls involved carry bracelets enabling them to send a distress signal, alerting Mr. Lee to intervene when dealing with problematic clients. In this particular instance, the client proves to be an anti-capitalism enthusiast collecting girls' hair. Swiftly, Mr. Lee, not too far away, steps in to teach the individual a lesson through a combination of slaps and kicks, ultimately freeing the distressed girl with ease. In the midst of an English lesson, Jisoo receives distressing photos showcasing the damage inflicted by a client on one of his girls. Using Doggo, Jisoo sends a robotic voice message, concealing his true identity, stating that the damages amount to 2 million won, while the client claims to only have 23,000. After a thorough search, they manage to come up with 323,000 won. As the client falls short of the required amount, Mr. Lee steps in to administer a beating, settling the debt. Basically, Jisoo operates as a mastermind behind compensated dating, never physically stepping in himself. Also as the manager, responsible for finding new clients. Mr. Lee plays multiple roles as the driver, protector, and money collector. Mr. Lee ensures the safe delivery of funds to Jisoo, all without the need for a face-to-face encounter. Jisoo's real dream is just to be average, graduate, get married, raise kids and die an average death. The money he needs for that is 90 million won. The next day at school, Ki-tae, the habitual bully, enters their class and everyone avoids him. While Ki-tae bullies Jisoo's classmates, Jisoo observes his high school crush playing football, secretly yearning to be with Gyuri. Lost in his thoughts, Jisoo is unexpectedly hit by a ball. Ki-tae sarcastically apologizes, but Jisoo casually brushes him off, further infuriating Ki-tae. Later, his homeroom teacher, Mr. Cho confronts him, furious about the forged parental signature on his excellent grade report card. To avoid trouble, the teacher offers Jisoo a deal. He can be let off the hook if he agrees to join the Social Issues Research Club. Jisoo isn't interested at all, but when Gyuri enters the room and reveals she is the only member, Mr. Cho forces Jisoo to join the club. In Jisoo's girl headquarters, Minhee, one of the members, is furious at the thought of someone stealing her gift for Ki-tae. Determined to rectify the situation, she considers buying another casing, even though it's expensive. However, the girl from the previous night walks in with a new haircut. Annoyed and seeking relaxation from the stressful night, she suggests a girls' night out and generously sponsors the event. Still, that doesn't cheer Minhee up. At the same time, Gyuri, Jisoo, and Mr. Cho work on the questionnaire for the club. When the topic of sex workers arises, particularly the ethical aspect, Jisoo becomes uncomfortable due to his expertise in the matter. Mr. Cho points out that prostitution is illegal by law, and it even involves minors. Gyuri argues that it's a form of work, suggesting that if it's illegal, the police should handle it. However, Mr. Cho disagrees, emphasizing the school's responsibility in such matters. When Mr. Cho seeks Jisoo's input, he emphasizes that individuals involved in such activities could face severe consequences, including social ostracism and the potential ruin of their lives. Not saying it's about right or wrong, just being considerate about the person. As it's getting late, Gyuri suggests continuing on the weekend. Since Jisoo will be meeting tomorrow to work on the questionnaire, he informs Mr. Lee that they will not be accepting any orders. He advises Mr. Lee to take this time to fix his phone. The girls, however, don't take this well. They express concerns about their safety, stating that without protection, they could be vulnerable to harm. They even propose to pay Mr. Lee extra if he shows up himself, but he rejects the offer. The next day, Jisoo gets ready for the meeting, treating it more like a date than just a casual work meetup. He even Googles expenses for a date and grabs some cash from his substantial stash. However, the meeting doesn't exactly go as planned. It's awkward, and Jisoo even fails to open the door, so Gyuri does it for him. He orders a double-shot espresso, clearly not knowing what it is, and refuses to let Gyuri pay, fumbling all his money out of his pocket, which sets alarms off to Gyuri. Yeah, that's an espresso. When Gyuri gets a call from her mom and takes it outside, she sees Jisoo spitting the espresso back, gets him a cup of milk to go with it, and figures out it's his first time at a cafe. Jisoo asks about her mom, noting that his mom left him. A random thing to say, but it amuses Gyuri, even though it clearly wasn't a joke. She then inquires about his dad, but he's also gone. He has lived alone since the 9th grade, and no one knows it. So the next question is, how does he make money to live alone? But Jisoo just casually says, this and that, avoiding the question. Gyuri thinks it's badass to live alone like that, without parents. Jisoo suddenly tears up, happy to just talk to someone about it. Meanwhile, Minhee, in an attempt to make money for a gift for Kitai, meets up with another client, the same creep from before, unbeknownst to her. As they sit down, the man's numerous bruises make her uncomfortable. When Minhee goes to freshen up, the creep advises her to call Mr. Lee, it's an ambush. Minhee discreetly taps her bracelet, sending a distress signal to Jisoo. He excuses himself and checks to see the incoming signal, which shows Minhee's location. Meanwhile, Gyuri notices Jisoo's phone still in his bag and finds it suspicious. Jisoo attempts to call Mr. Lee, who is occupied fixing his phone. Jisoo faces a difficult choice, either leave Minhee to fend for herself, or intervene somehow. Using Doggo, he secretly listens in, trying to gather information on what's happening in that room. Minhee cries for Uncle, aka Jisoo, to help her, pleading not to abandon her even though it's his day off. Jisoo decides to leave Gyuri and deal with the situation himself. He goes to a locker to retrieve a taser, but finds that the batteries are dead. Unable to find the right batteries in the store, he decides to search the battery recycling bin. Meanwhile, the creep continues to assault Minhee, threatening her and sharing his sob story about wanting to harm Mr. Lee. Finally, Minhee reaches a breaking point and headbutts him, causing her wig to come off. Finally, Jisoo finds a matching battery with some charge left, but not enough for the taser. He decides to choose a different weapon. The store clerk notices Jisoo's actions and calls the cops, and Jisoo gets an idea. As the creep is about to shave Minhee's real hair, Jisoo calls and gives Minhee instructions on how to leave the premises. He also tells the creep that the police have been called, and when they look out the window, they see the police arriving. The thugs panic and run off, and the creep ungags Minhee before fleeing as well, just as the police arrive with a detective. The police, however, are occupied with a different room, and Minhee makes her escape following Uncle's directions. The detective only catches a glimpse of Minhee's chains on her backpack. Minhee gets into a taxi and drives away safely. Jisoo rushes back to the cafe, but Gyuri has already left. On the train home, Jisoo considers apologizing to Gyuri but decides against it. Meanwhile, Mr. Lee tracks down the creep, who was about to post pictures he took of Minhee. The creep runs off, leaving his phone behind. The next morning, Gyuri finds Jisoo sleeping at his desk with 2 phones and decides to find out the truth. Thank you for watching. Subscribe for more videos like this.